Welcome everyone, this is Honest Restart, and this time we're talking about what Nintendo's gonna be focusing on for E3 2021. So you know when Nintendo ever puts out like a tweet announcing a direct and they say, oh, this direct is gonna be featuring this or focusing on this for this time of the year? That's what we're sort of focusing on today. What Nintendo's gonna be sort of advertising and pushing as the big sort of marquee titles or franchises that their E3 is gonna be sort of focused on here. And we actually have a few rumors coming from Samus Hunter. They're supporting the idea of what Nintendo may be focusing on. And I'll just kind of tell you right now, the focus apparently will be for The Legend of Zelda, Super Smash Bros., and Splatoon 3. Now before we jump into things, let me very quickly talk about my social media. You may see a few different things here on screen. You can check that all out. It's linked in the description below. And of course, if you like what you're seeing here, you can subscribe. So we've been sort of waiting for Nintendo to finally give us that tweet that tells us when they're going to have their E3 Direct, what sort of Treehouse segments are we going to be getting, and what sort of games they will be focusing on. Obviously, there will be more than just what they're focusing on, but there is going to be a focus. So then, what is that going to be? I think very likely Zelda would be a part of that. There has been this sort of build up towards Breath of the Wild 2, I think. There is a whole Zelda 35th anniversary going on. We have Skyward Sword. We have Age of Calamity, so there's a lot of reason to think that Nintendo's going to be talking about Zelda around E3 for sure. But also, if we go back to the February Nintendo Direct, for that final reveal of that Direct, what did we get? Splatoon 3. Now the game's coming out in 2022, but for sure it's a big title. Nintendo has sort of redone their online servers here. Splatoon 3 might be an even bigger deal than Splatoon 2, so Nintendo's going to be pushing this game, advertising this game, and it makes sense for them to focus on it at E3, especially as Splatoon 3 is going to be an early 2022 title. We don't know that for sure yet, but it does seem like it might be coming out sometime in the first half of that year, so it's not too far off. And then for Smash Bros., well, that should come as no surprise. Pretty much every single Direct ever has had some sort of Smash mention, most of them at least. So you should definitely expect at least one Smash reveal, and perhaps more than that. Maybe we get a Smash tournament, maybe we get a Splatoon 3 tournament, maybe there's a whole bunch of Zelda Anniversary fanfare during the whole E3 week or period that's going to be happening in June. So with that all in mind, I think we should probably start talking about the rumors coming from Samus Hunter, but before I do, I just want to caution you guys, take it with a grain of salt. Until it's confirmed by Nintendo, we don't know what's actually happening. That said, I do think this person is pretty darn reliable. They have a really good track record, so this is definitely worth sort of looking into. So here's some of what Samus Hunter has been saying. I read questions about Splatoon 3 presence at E3. Yes, it's one of the few games where I can confirm that it will be there along with Smash and the Breath of the Wild sequel, as they're the most involved titles in terms of marketing management. Come on Nintendo, reveal the plans to the public. They have a lot of Zelda related news to discuss, and actually one of the presentations might not be enough, especially given the spotlight Nintendo wants to give the Breath of the Wild sequel. I don't have any news about further directs, but a treehouse dedicated to Zelda titles is not to be excluded. So here Samus Hunter is telling us that from what she's heard, Nintendo will be focusing on Zelda, Splatoon 3, and Smash Bros., which supports things she said in the past where we would maybe see a Splatoon 3 tournament, a Smash tournament, and a lot of Zelda Anniversary sort of announcements. That all makes sense. Of course, at the time, there was some uncertainty because we don't know exactly when Nintendo may be able to get off and get going because of COVID and all and social distancing. But at the very least, it's looking like, for sure, we should be expecting more Smash news, more Splatoon news, and more Zelda news. And when Nintendo finally does make that sort of announcement, their big tweet or whatever will probably make mention of these three different franchises. It makes sense. But on the note of Nintendo making this announcement, there are a few people suggesting that we could be seeing something this week. Samus Hunter herself has said that we could be getting a lot of actual E3 announcements this week. Jeff Grubb has suggested that this week would be a good time for Nintendo to do it. No one's outright saying for sure that Nintendo will make the announcement this week, but people have been suggesting that maybe this week is the time, so who knows, maybe by the time you already see this video, Nintendo will have made that announcement already, or maybe later on this week they will. But going back to the rumor from Samus Hunter here, it's interesting because it tells us more about what may be going on beyond just a Direct itself, and it sort of lines up with other rumors we've seen as well. For example, there was this rumor coming from Game Over Jesse that when we get the Zelda trailer during the E3 Direct for Breath of the Wild 2, it might be a nice fully featured trailer, you know, like about 2 to 3 minutes or so, something like that. But then after that, there might be an announcement of more to come later on. Now at the time, there's a lot of speculation that maybe that would be for some sort of Zelda Direct or something like that. But what if it isn't like a Zelda Direct months later down the road? Personally, I speculated that if we are going to be getting like a Breath of the Wild 2 sort of reveal or big showcase during a Direct with a nice trailer, they would go beyond just that. There'd be more of a showcase of this game at E3. And if we look at what Samus Hunter is suggesting here, there's going to be a lot of Treehouse footage, perhaps even a fully dedicated day of Treehouse stuff for Zelda, and Breath of the Wild 2 is going to have a huge focus, which makes tons of sense. And if Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be getting such a large focus, that does tell us that the game is not that far off. That does suggest that the game will probably be out by the end of the fiscal year. So, you know, we are getting close to this game. We're not that far off, and that's very exciting if this is all true. But there's also discussion here about Smash Bros. And Splatoon. So when it comes to Smash Bros., at the very least, I'm expecting at least one character reveal, potentially more. At E3 2019, we got 2 different character reveals. But also there's the distinct possibility that Nintendo has some sort of tournament as well to sort of hype up E3 and their plans and get fans excited and engaged with the Smash tournament. That makes sense. It could definitely happen. And I'm not sure if that would tie into any sort of other character reveals, but still, there's going to be a lot of Smash to sort of look forward to here, I think. At the very least, one character reveal, but I'm thinking a little bit more than that. And then as for Splatoon 3, well, sure, we're going to get more news on that probably. It's already an announced and known game. It was a final reveal at the February Nintendo Direct earlier this year, and the game is coming out 2022, but I'm thinking earlier in the year for 2022, maybe by the summer of 2022. In other words, this might be the last E3 before the game is about to come out. So this is a great opportunity to fully showcase this game, give us more details here, maybe have a Treehouse segment, maybe have a Splatoon 3 tournament. And this might be me being really optimistic. It's probably not going to happen. Well, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm not convinced either. But what I'm getting at here is that maybe we see some sort of test fire. We've seen test fires for Splatoon and Splatoon 2 in the past, well before the games have actually come out. So I don't think it's too much of a stretch to maybe think that we get another one for Splatoon 3 before this game comes out, but to think it comes out around the E3, I'm not sure, but I'm very excited at the possibility of us being able to play actually Splatoon 3 to some extent during E3. That would be amazing, but at the very least, I'm sure we're going to be getting a lot of footage of people competing against each other, whether it's from a tournament, some sort of Treehouse segments. Either way, all of those are possibilities. But from what Samus Hunter is saying here, we can sort of expect that. More Splatoon 3 news, more Smash Bros. News, more Zelda news, and it's not just all going to happen at an E3 Direct. There will be more beyond that. But I'm sure some of you are now going to be asking, what about Metroid? What about Donkey Kong? What about Fire Emblem? What about Pokemon or Kirby? What about these other Nintendo franchises that we've heard about? Are they going to have some sort of presence at E3? I think so. I think some of them for sure have a really good chance to be there. We're just talking about what Nintendo is going to be focusing on. That doesn't mean we can't get a Metroid trailer during an E3 Direct and still have a little bit of a Treehouse segment there. I think there's a really good chance of that. I'm predicting that actually. And I think there's a chance that we see Donkey Kong as well. It might not come out this year. I think that kind of depends on what other things are coming. If Breath of the Wild 2 will make it out, not entirely sure. So Nintendo may wait a little bit longer, but Donkey Kong is a decent bet for E3 as well, as is Fire Emblem, as is Kirby. These are all franchises that I think are right around the corner with their next entries, and for sure, there's a really good chance they could be at E3. Maybe not all of them, but there's a really good chance that most of them will be showing up. And yes, that also includes Pokemon. Pokemon will show up to some extent in an E3 Direct, probably with a small little trailer, but expect a Pokemon Presents before E3 where they will be detailing most of the Pokemon announcements, but also probably expect a Treehouse footage as well, because that's how it's worked pretty much in every previous E3, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get Pokemon news in that way as well. Either way, it's looking like we are right around the corner before Nintendo actually makes their official announcements regarding their actual E3 plans during this E3 period. We know they will be there. We don't know if there will be a Direct technically, but there probably will be, and there probably will be a whole bunch of Treehouse footage. And according to the rumors from Samus Hunter, there's gonna be a lot of a focus on Zelda, Smash Brothers, and Splatoon 3. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think is happening? When do you think Nintendo will finally make this announcement? Is it gonna happen like really soon, or maybe by the time this video, that announcement will have already happened? Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is Honest Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care.